I cheated, again. Realizing that an open marriage is the best solution for us. How do I convince my spouse? 30s F/M, required information. I'm 34/F and my husband is 35/M. We have been married for 10 years. We have 2 elementary school-aged sons. Background. We've been together since 1999 and are college sweethearts. Married for just over 10 years. I work long rotations for work, consulting, and I'm away from home about 40% of the year, so it's very stressful to our marriage. I do love my job though, and I wouldn't change anything. We have found a good compromise and it's worked for us. I've cheated in the past when we were dating, but we put it behind us and have really moved on from it, and in a lot of ways are strong for it. He does mention the cheating every once and a while, and I wouldn't say he has forgot. I floated the idea of an open marriage to him in the past and he wasn't really receptive, but I wasn't trying to convince him either. The current issue. So I've been working 12 hours away from my family for the past 6 months, and once the holiday season passes, I will be back to that rotation and am going to be there until April. It's a really challenging operation and I love it, but it's been stressful to be away from them. It ends up working out to me being home for about 5 days a month, and those days are glorious, but the time in between is tough. One of the VPs at the company I am working for has had his eye on me for a while. We hit it off at work and there has been this fun charge between us, but I've tried to not let anything happen. Well, something happened about a month ago and we have been in an affair from until then. He has an open marriage himself. As bad as the guilt is, it's also been so exciting and thrilling. He is a great lover and we have really great chemistry there. To make things more complicated, I had an encounter with another man very recently too. This all has made me think about our marriage and monogamy. I've seen firsthand how prevalent cheating is, and I think it's an outdated model. It's near impossible, with even the best of intentions, to uphold. I am attracted to other men and my husband, I'm sure, is the same way. We shouldn't let societal pressure confine us. I love my husband, but the distance is so difficult on us. I think for us, an open marriage is the perfect solution. We have a great family and a great home and life we've built together. Our kids don't need to be shuttled around with 2 homes, 2 step-parents, and go through a divorce. That isn't fair to them. There is still passion with my husband and I, and we still love one another, and I don't think we need a divorce. An open marriage lets us both explore without losing the stability of one another. I am confident with myself and I would be fine, even supportive of him exploring too. I wouldn't be at all jealous and I would want him to have fun too. So this is not a hypocrisy issue. I am returning home on Friday and will be back for 4 weeks, and I would like to over the holidays bring up this and make my case to my husband. I'm just looking for some advice on how to make the case to him about why this is for us. I have my reasons, but I would love to have Reddit's advice and support. I have thought of some rules for us, such as nothing with any mutual friends and no falling in love, but I am open to more suggestions. Also, I feel awful about the cheating and I'm contemplating confessing to him about it all regardless. I will wait and see his reaction to the open marriage and go from there about that. TL, Doctor, I cheated on my husband, while apart for work, and I think for us, an open marriage is the best possible solution. How do I convince my husband to? Comment 1. Stop trying to rationalize your shitty behavior. It's not fair to your husband that you're lying to him, betraying his trust, and sleeping with other men. Confessing and letting him decide what he wants to do is the only credible option, but seeing how self-centered you are, I doubt that will happen. Comment 2. An open marriage would require the kind of honesty that is definitely not present in cheating. Also, it is still possible to cheat in an open relationship. I think before you start trying to have that conversation, you work out for yourself why you have cheated. Not why you feel the desire to be with others, but why you cheated, rather than talking to your husband about an open relationship first. Comment 3. My so pressured me into an open relationship because he needed it. It scarred me a lot and we very nearly broke up after the dust settled. Then he went to therapy to get to the root of his desire to hook up with other people, and we are better now. Maybe you should try that before you wreck your husband's self-esteem. This is your issue, not his. Comment 4. Duck you up. This is not why you have an open marriage. Just based on the fact that you ducked someone else without talking to your significant other first proves this beyond a doubt. Edit. I posted this in anger. I'm sorry, but my point still stands. Open relationships require more trust than a regular one. What you're basically asserting is that both you and your partner commit to stay, at least mostly, romantically monogamous, but are free to have time with people outside of your relationship. There are many reasons to start an open relationship, and not one of them is because you can't keep your dick to yourself when the chips are down. In my case, I'm in an open relationship of sorts because we're both somewhere on the spectrum between bistimul and panstimul, and sometimes we can't quite itch the scratch. So we find play partners, both for ourselves and for each other. These pairings are always discussed in advance, before there is anything remotely like genital-to-genital contact. The reason is to maintain this trust, and so that we can approve or veto potential partners. The trust issue isn't just between the two of you. As soon as you add a third, a fourth, you have to both trust them also not to bring an STD into your bedroom. In short, open relationships / polyamory / anything along these lines require way more trust than people like op are capable of. My best advice is for you to turn yourself into your significant other, plead for mercy, and hope in the future that you learn some self-control. And for duck's sake, stop making people in plural relationships look like shit. We have enough of an image problem without people like you. Comment 5. I think you're incredibly selfish. You've convinced yourself that because cheating is so prevalent it's okay for you to do and therefore that you should be in an open relationship. You've also convinced yourself that your husband is attracted to other women and wants to exercise this attraction, despite any mentioned evidence on his part, and only because you're attracted to other men and apparently can't control yourself. You mention that your husband still brings up the cheating. He is clearly still upset about it. What on earth makes you think he would be cool with an open relationship? Whether or not you ask for an open marriage, you need to tell your husband of your infidelity. Even if he okays an open marriage, that does not okay your cheating. You're still being deceptive, and he deserves better than that. Comment 6. You honestly sound like you're in denial. Please, just accept the fact that you're trying to have your cake and eat it. Your husband is more likely going to be heartbroken and, for both your sakes, will put his foot down and divorce you. There's nothing wrong with realizing you're not a one-man woman, but you really should know these things before you get married and have children. And even if you did, a proper open marriage would be discussed before you engaged with other men. What I often see in these "my so just cheated on me" is that the so will often push for open relationships while they are already cheating. They usually do it in a way to save face from their lack of self-control. Don't convince your husband, because wanting an open marriage is just a symptom of your lack of self-control. You are hurting your husband and you're not suited to be a faithful wife. That's all there really is to it. Comment 7. I can't believe this is a serious thread, honestly. There's no way it can be, but I'll pretend that it is. You need to stop with the bullshit, for starters. You probably did some extreme Google foo one night looking for a way out of your shitty situation, that I might add, you caused, and found the holy grail that is an open relationship. Except you're not mature enough for that, nor do you realize what it entails. It takes two people communicating honestly and clearly about their encounters, and working together to deal with the plethora of jealousy issues that pop up. My advice to you would be to grow a pair and tell him what you did, again, or straight up divorce him. He deserves someone who's honest and trustworthy, PS not you, and actually considers his feelings, not someone who seems to magically know everything he wants when you haven't even ducking consulted him about it. Oh, and stop pretending you have some deep, loving relationship. You talk about all of the love you share, but rest assured he'll hate you to the core once he learns you've cheated again, potentially with multiple people. Comment 8. What about possible STIs, your own and your unsuspecting husband's? Unplanned pregnancy. Workplace complications from having an affair with a married coworker, or is he your boss? It's unclear from the way you describe the VP. You are coming into this conversation from a position of weakness since you have already lied to your husband, cheated on him and forced him into a corner, especially since he has not been willing to have an open marriage in the past. Clearly you want what you want and are willing to risk everything you purportedly hold dear to get it. I agree that monogamy is not essential to a good relationship as long as all parties are on board and take precautions, but honesty is essential. You've missed the boat on that one. Comment 9. Best start on the divorce now. Cheating on your husband and later asking for an open marriage is just you asking for permission to do what you did. More importantly, it is you asking permission for what you are going to do. You will to have time with other men, regardless of this particular outcome. Long-term monogamy is a large, difficult, and all too often unrealistic undertaking, I agree. However, that thought would have helped before your marriage and subsequent infidelity, not after. You need to accept that your marriage is in decline. If he refuses this idea of yours, then you'll just have to go behind his back to get what you need. If he caves and gives in to the notion, then congrats, because you now have something to hold against him and absolve yourself of all responsibility. Neither of these make for a working marriage or family. Kids are easily one of the worst excuses to sustain a failing marriage. Children aren't typically smart enough to understand all the nuances of what's happening between their parents, but they are smart enough to perceive what's happening and know that it is bad for both their parents and their family as a whole. Children are not stupid. With their parents trapped within a resentful marriage, they will be able to see that their family is coming to an end. However, you can prevent this. You can prevent this by being open and clear with the fact that you and your husband can no longer be together. The prevention of trying to cover up a festering wound is more than worth the cost of acknowledging that the wound is there. Separate amicably and your children will see that relationships change. Stay together wrongfully and they will see that the ideals of family, love, and trusting relationships are meaningless lies to be told to children that don't know any better. Comment 10. Your marriage is done. You don't suggest an open marriage after you've already cheated. It's like closing the barn door after the horse has already escaped. You are trying to justify your behavior. Can't be done. Face the fact that you and your husband view marriage and relationships differently, that it won't change and that you both need to move forward, separately. He deserves someone whose sense of loyalty and fidelity is part of their DNA that's not you. Let him go so that he can find someone to make him happy and won't cause him to trigger whenever she walks out of their home because he can't trust that she's going where she tells him she's going. Do the right thing, for once. Let this end.
Thanks you for watching Everyday New Movies. See you soon.